Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is Yukiko and Amaya of Sundari Sacred Arts, and I'm so happy to be here with my friend and mentor, Laura Cornell of Divine Feminine Yoga. And I'm so excited to be here with you today. So today's topic is women, rock your power, your body, sexuality, and earth. So please stay with us. If you are feeling anxious and worried and outraged about what's happening with earth and nature today, or if you're feeling angry and lost about this incredible corruption of power that we're seeing, and if you're sick and scared of the rise in cancer and depression and all the things that seem to be ailing not only us individually, but also all of the planet, looking at how much pollution there is in our natural resources. And I want to share with you today how to have more clarity in all of this chaos and how to be able to get access to wisdom tools, age-old wisdom tools that are right here with us. And, so that we can really come to the fullest potential of who we are and not only help ourselves and our loved ones, but also to be able to make a shift and a change in the world by becoming more of who we truly are. And let's together, change this crisis moment into a portal that enables us to step through into a place of power. So, does that sound good? If it sounds good, please let us know that you're on, that you're here, and comment, say hello, and I'm so glad that you're coming on. So I'm really, really passionate about plugging into our full capacity as very powerful, embodied beings who are co-creating with the universe and with each other a world that is compassionate, more compassionate and inclusive and diverse and creative, because I feel that that is true abundance. True abundance surely is not about owning more, to be controlling more. And it's that to me is what I call the goddess world. So there's many goddesses and goddess groups coming together, which I find really, really exciting at this time, to bring in a new way of being, a new way of seeing. So please, if you're interested, share some of your ideas and comments, and let's try to be as inclusive as we can, even in this Facebook Live online event. Okay, so let's just dive right in. And so I'm super, super excited to have Laura Cornell of Divine Feminine Yoga joining with me today. I was so moved when she said that she would, yes, come on and do this together with me and interview me and converse with me. And I really want to also welcome her Divine Feminine Yoga community. Those of you who are with the Divine Feminine Yoga, welcome. And those of you who aren't, also welcome. This is a wonderful community of women, Divine Feminine Yoga. And Laura has really helped me in clarifying my deep vision of what I wanted to manifest out into the world. And in that process, I really saw that Laura got me. She understands and supports the Earth Healer vision that I have. And so I feel really fortunate that she's here to interview me today. I'm going to have a couple of surprise guests as well, so please stay on. And if you're from the Divine Feminine Yoga, say hello. And I would love to, okay, so let's see. I'm very new at all of this, but I'm seeing some live comments here. There is, now how do I do this? Michelle Bouchard, okay. It's getting up there. So I'm getting Michelle Bouchard, Lee Culver Riches, Patty Sunfield with the thumbs up and the hearts, which is really wonderful. And okay, all right. This is a real learning process for me as well, ladies. So hang in there with me. Live comments. Okay, okay, got it. Okay, so we've got Hyla up here. Hello, Yukiko and Laura, much love, wonderful. And there is Marie Colandera from my neck of the woods. This is exciting, Yukiko. Yes, we'll be making a recording. Yes. Great. Okay, so here we go. And, you know, I really want to be talking to you and to all the women out there about the pain of Mother Earth. If you're feeling that, and if you want to be an active part in shifting the consciousness. So I'm going to be talking about that today as well. And I'm going to be sharing with you also another practice that I have, which is called Earth Healer Sacred Immersion. It's a way of connecting with very powerful places in the earth. And this year, I'm going to be taking a very intimate group to Bali. And I'll be talking and sharing about that with you as well. So keep on giving us feedback on what you're hearing. And I'll try to technologically put those comments up as much as possible. And shall we just dive in? Let's go. Okay. So first, the way this is going to work, I am going to introduce Laura. And then she's going to introduce me to you, introduce me, and then we'll go into the interview. Okay. So, women, rock your power, your body, sexuality, and earth. So let me first introduce you to Laura Cornell, PhD. She's the founding director of Divine Feminine Yoga. She empowers women to heal body and soul so they can contribute to healing the planet. Wonderful. She mentors healers and teachers worldwide to leverage their talents for greater fulfillment, service, and income. Laura holds a doctorate in religion and philosophy from the California Institute of Integral Studies. It's an amazing, amazing school. And a 500-hour yoga teacher certification from the Kripalu Center. I love Kripalu. So as the founder of the Green Yoga Association, Laura spurred a nationwide movement towards green yoga studios and produced 2 major conferences, raising awareness about the connections between ecology and yoga. So this association was so important. It really brought awareness in my yoga practice to ecology and started to really make me think about connecting nature with yoga. So thank you, Laura, for that awareness. And I know a lot of people in the yoga community really started to wake up because of your work. So without further ado, let me welcome Laura, and I'm going to turn the mic over to you.
Thank you, Yukiko. I'm feeling it in my body with your talk. I'm hearing an echo now, so I'm going to turn my volume down. Feeling my earth healerness as I ground into the earth as I stand. So I was so excited when you told me you were considering a trip to Bali and leading a trip to Bali because I personally love Bali. I went there in 2014 with a women's retreat. It was amazing. I'm actually wearing the shirt that I wore on my first morning there when I woke up early. It was nice and cool and I could go out walking in the rice paddies. You'd feel the land and the women there. And I can't imagine anyone better to go to Bali with than you, Yukiko. And I mean that. So all of you who are considering this trip, I know you will be in very good hands with Yukiko. And you'll get to meet more of her today. Just to give you a little background about her, Yukiko is fluent in 3 languages. She's fluent in Japanese, French, and English. And that's an amazing feat. Anyone who speaks 3 languages really knows the heart of, I believe, people and culture. She lived in France, and she founded an award-winning dance company there. She was then a filmmaker and did documentaries on many topics. In the United States, she became immersed in yoga with Rod Stryker and Eric Schiffman and Pandit Rajmani Tigunite of the Himalayan Institute. She's really a master yogini. I've had the chance to practice with her several times, and I've known her for several years as a client and watched her just incredibly blossom. She studied shamanism under Don Miguel Ruiz, and I know was a top student of him as well, and has taught at Exhale Yoga, which is a very well-known yoga studio in Los Angeles, as well as UCLA, and led her Earth Healer immersion to other, I know she led it last year to Glastonbury. And I've heard from people who went on that trip how much they loved it. And I'm not surprised. I got to swim with the dolphins last year with Yukiko and have some great conversations with her. I know she's an incredibly wise being who honors Mother Earth, who is totally dedicated to the goddess, to the divine feminine, and a really dedicated yogini in her own life. So we're in very, very good hands with you, Yukiko, today. And for those of you who decide to go on the Bali trip, Yukiko also does online coaching and works with women in radiant embodied empowerment. And this is a form of healing through your body, through movement, and through soul work. And she also trained in soul motion dance. So many different modalities that she brings together in her heart and her being. So I would love to just jump into the topic that you have laid out for us.
Yes.
I'm going to read it here. Women rock your power, your body, sexuality, and earth. Tell us what this means for you and how you picked this topic for our conversation today.
Okay, so, oops, I'm hearing an echo. Okay, so when I talk about women rock your power, it actually is a call to revolution. I would really like to turn patriarchy on its head and redefine what it is to have power, because I feel that, you know, for the past few thousand years, with this linear way of thinking and this pyramid structure of power where there's just one person at the very top and then, you know, everybody else is down the bottom. And even as a species, looking at the human species as if we were on the top of the pyramid with everything down. Somehow this way of looking at power isn't working. I just don't feel that it's really helping life in general. And I would really like to encourage women and also men to look at the more feminine side as well, to develop the other feminine side, which I feel is part of the embodiment of this circular wisdom, spherical wisdom. Look at Mother Earth. Her shape is a sphere. We're not a friggin' pyramid flying around space, you know? Mothership Earth is a sphere. And I just wanted to incite that within this topic, because I'm so passionate about this. And I feel that the power and the empowerment that we're really looking for is in becoming more ourselves, to drop into our body, to find wholeness in connection and relationship, and in co-creation. So, and within that, there is also, you know, sexuality. Sexuality is a huge energy. I mean, it packs enough energy to create another human being. And sexuality has received such a bad rap from religions and patriarchal systems, so that it's either about procreation or about pleasure. And of course, these are the two functions as well, but there's a much bigger function of sexuality, which is really a way of connecting with all life that is astounding and amazing. And that sexual energy should not be something that should be hidden and that we're ashamed of. It should be a celebration of our aliveness and much bigger energy. So, and all of that comes into connection with Earth. I don't know if that made sense. That was a lot, but
that's a whole lot. I mean, I could go down any of the different ways. It's so rich. It's like nutrient-dense food you just gave us. A couple of things that I just love what you said. First of all, I love this idea of power under patriarchy has been a pyramid, mostly at the top, and everyone else being suppressed, repressed. And that Mother Earth is not a pyramid flying through space. I think you said Mother Earth's ship. Is not a pyramid flying through space. It's a sphere. I'm thinking of a pregnant belly. I'm thinking of the woman's arms holding a baby. I'm thinking of a circle of women, a circle of sisters, which can include men as well.
Yes.
I know you include men in your vision, although this trip and your teaching is particularly aimed at women. So I'm just getting that sense of, and I agree with you, the collective, the collaborative being a circle, and how can we bring that and balance that with the other. And then I love what you're saying about sexuality, frankly, that some traditions have said it's just for procreation. And then we really look at sexuality also for pleasure. There's whole traditions that look at the pleasure. And I love, and it really awakens my curiosity to just be in that, what you're talking about, it as just an energy of connecting to life. Yeah. So I know you are an advanced yoga teacher, yogini, as well as many other things, as I said earlier. How would you see that your approach towards yoga or spirituality might be different than other traditions? Is it because of this different relationship to Earth, different relationship to our sexual beingness, our embodiment, or something else?
Well, it's yoga is as we know, it's a huge system, and in the United States, we've only scratched a very small corner of that immense system. So I can't really profess to know the entire system. It's one of my foundational practices, and I have great respect and great love for yoga. And at the same time, in my own experience, my personal journey through yoga, I started to get really frustrated about being on that mat and meditating, being on a cushion or being seated all the time. And so I wanted to find other ways, and I think it's because by nature I'm a rebel, and
You're a rebel. Good, we like
and so I felt that a lot of the yogis that I know are wonderful people, and they're really connected with the divine, but many of us really suck at interpersonal relationships. And I just thought, well, how can we utilize this whole concept of yoga, which is union, in a much more global, spherical way? How can it be used in an everyday setting, right? And that's when I started to really look into ways of moving spontaneously. So the way that I approach embodiment is not systematic. There is no system or steps of you have to do this and get to this or this. It's completely a spiral system, and I base it upon the thing that each of us have a very different entry point or an entryway into our deep connection with our beingness here. I don't want this separation between body and soul. I really want to find a way where everything can merge together and find what it is to be here. So again, the difference between other spiritual traditions as well, perhaps, and even in yoga, except for tantric yoga, yoga also tends to look at how we can leave our body. You know, we kind of control and subjugate our body. We control our breathing, we control the movements, we control how the spine is, so that in service of this enlightenment, you know, which often has to be about leaving the body. And I really wanted to know what it was to come back into the body, go into the underground, back into the caves, you know, back into earth, and find that balance. So that's where I think my approach differs perhaps with some of the traditions that might be around. So there's a more shamanic, earthy, the ancient goddess ways of being.
I love that idea of going into the cave.
Yeah.
Going into the cave in the body, not just like actual cave, but like in the body. Yeah. Do you want to take us through a short experience? Do we have time for that, or do you want to do that later?
I think we actually do. So yeah, so let's you can stay seated if you like, or if you would like to stand up, that's also good. But whether seated or standing, I invite you to take your shoes off, or slippers, or anything that's in the way between you and the floor. And so if you're seated, and I also do this, I get very comfortable sitting cross-legged on a chair, but in this instance, I invite you to put your feet onto the floor. So those of you who are yogis, you know that there's a huge chakra energy vortex in your feet, the soles of your feet. So just softening and imagining that you're opening the soles of your feet. That's where your eyes are. And just very gently start to drop your weight towards earth, towards gravity, towards mother. And you might notice as you do this, that you're not trying to push your weight down, you're just simply softening and relaxing. And as you start to feel your weight drop down, maybe 5% more, you might sense that there was a lot of weight actually held in your head, your jaws, your shoulders, and letting those, the weights there, just gently flow down towards earth. That's it. That's it. Yes. Yes. And you might feel your breath naturally starting to soften. And the breath is the most amazing alchemical tool that we have, because what was outside that had been breathed by trees and insects and other beings, and way back when by dinosaurs, is now inside you as you breathe in. And what was inside you is now outside. So this amazing exchange of information. Good. And so as you sense this, start to sense that you have a back body. Sense into your buttocks and your back body. And sensing into the roundness of your belly. Your rib cage softening. Beautiful. And I invite you to now, in your own way, start to bring your attention to your vagina or to your yoni. And if you're a gentleman listening, to your penis or your lingam. Just sensing into your sexual organ and just breathing as if you could. From your yoni or your lingam. Just as if you could breathe from there. And just stay very curious. There's no correct way or a right way to do this. So just relax, it's okay. And just stay curious. And letting your field of awareness, the way that you're sensing, just start to expand even a little bit more. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yes. And just sense into the world around you through your yoni, through your linga. And if you feel like you're not feeling anything, don't worry about it. Just relax and soften. It's a very, very healing exercise just to shift the center of your awareness out of your head and into another part of your body. Okay, and just see if you can sense into the rivers and mountains from this place, from your sexual center, to the trees and flowers. The birds, the clouds moving. Beautiful. And then see what happens if you let that sensation spread out through your entire body. Coming up through your organs, up into your heart, right out through your arms and into your hands and fingers, into your head and the field above your head, and also down through your legs, right into earth, connecting to the world through your sexual center. Good. And just very slowly come on back. And if you've been closing your eyes, then just very gently open your eyes, but let the world come to you. Okay, stay centered, stay in your body. Stay in your body. And just sense how that feels to be sensing from this place, the world and yourself. Good. And being in the everyday at the same time, no separation. Okay? So that the mind doesn't have to tell us this is a special state that you can't maintain outside of the special state. You can also say to yourself, this is the connected state, and I can be connected in this way and be in my center when I want to, that the choice is mine. Good. Okay, so that took a little bit longer than I had expected, but I hope you enjoyed that. How was that for you? If you have any comments, bring them on. And good. So I know it's this can be a very deep practice, and it can go in many different directions. But it's part of the thing that we will do in the earth healer practice when we go into the power places around the planet. So, Laura, can you hear me? Oh, hang on. I am not hearing you. Oh, there you go. How was that? Yes.
That was surprisingly powerful in a very gentle way. Yeah, I loved that. I sat on the floor, which is why you couldn't see me because I'm standing right now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that sense of breathing with the yoni and then letting that expand out to connect, to feel the presence of the mountains and the rivers. I actually got in touch with something I've been moving through in my personal life that I'm realizing may come from repression in our culture in that area, that I'm just like, wow, this is going to be a really good practice for me. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. And yeah, the yoni and the lingam are, not surprisingly, ancient symbols of life and creativity and vitality, and to gently feel into that in such a sacred place as Bali. I'd love to hear a little bit more about your Earth Healer sacred immersion in Bali. Would you like to talk about that?
Yes. So I'm going to see if I can technically put up some pictures, because Bali is such a great picture place.
Yes.
So it might come up to this side. So let me see. So here we go. So now
rice fields.
Bali.
It really looks like that. You won't believe it till you see it.
I know. So one of the reasons why, the reason why I like to do these Earth Healer sacred immersions is because when you go to a very powerful vortex in the earth, it really, really, really helps you in your transformational connection process to kind of rocket boost you in much quicker than when you're working by yourself. And it's not always the case, obviously, because there are no rules in life per se. But that's what I've discovered. And it's also such a wonderful way to start to connect with Earth Mother. And Bali, I chose Bali this year. I didn't choose Bali. Actually, Bali chose me, was what it feels like. I started hearing, please come to Bali. As you can see in this photo, Bali is one of the very, very strong energy vortex. So let me see if I can put this up here. So this is the map of the rainbow serpent and the plume serpent energy lines that go through the planet. So if you look at the planet Earth as like a body, it's sort of like within our body we have meridians, energy meridians. Or those of you who are yogis, this is like looking at the Ida and Pingala nadis in the body. And so there are two places in the world where they interconnect. And one is at Lake Titicaca in Peru, and the other is in Bali. And Bali is said to be the place where there is a lot of purification that happens. And as we know, Bali is an amazing place of temples and divinity connection, but it's also the land. See that mountain on the other side of those gates? That's where the power lies. And it's also an amazing place of not just water, but fire and water as the two purification energies. This is a Kechak monkey dance that we'll be going to see. So during that journey, every morning we're going to be doing some kind of practice, just like what we did. Plus, we are then going to go out into nature, going to the temples, the sacred sites, experiencing the Kechak, these amazing dances, going up to Mount Batur, sunrise tour.
Nice.
Yeah, so things like that. And the place that we'll be staying at is a wonderful, wonderful place right outside of Ubud, where you'll have, there's going to be a spa there, and included in the price is one session at the spa, so you can really come back from the journeys during the day outside and really be able to take care of yourself as well. So
it's just breathtaking, and seeing those photos. I just remember how every direction you turn, your senses are just filled with softness. The people are soft, the land is soft, and full.
Yes, it's amazing. And so those of you who are interested, in Bali, we'll come back to this later, but put a comment in, I'm interested, Bali, and I will send you a link to my website where you can find out more about this journey and how to connect with me. But we'll come back to that later on as well. And yes, so Bali, Bali, Bali.
So Yukiko, I know that you've led sacred immersions before, and I know you've been a soul motion dance teacher and you work with people in private sessions on the internet. And I've never done this practice that you had us just do a minute ago. I'm sure you have many, many other practices in your tool belt that I have never done. What do you notice? What shifts do you notice? What happens for women, or if you've worked with men, what shifts happen when you go on a sacred immersion or when you do these practices in this way?
Well, it's I'm going to bring a couple of guests on who've actually worked with me, and they can also express what they have gone through. But what I have noticed is that when you really connect into an embodied place of energetics like this, when it's sensing into your body in a very different way, and just energy opening, we're wired to do this. I feel certain. And when we start to tap into that energy, some very ancient and very powerful intelligence and connection opens up in us. And so I've noticed people really, people who were very afraid of different things come into a place of greater empowerment. I've also worked with people who had, a very depressed, they became depressed and anxious and angry because of everything going on. And by coming into the body, going into a very powerful location, really bringing them back together in a very powerful way. And I've seen healers as well and teachers start to expand their teaching and healing in ways that were not available to them before. So very, very creative, very interesting. But I'm going to bring on a guest here. Let's see if I can do this. Rachel Jessian. She came with me to the Glastonbury. Hey, Rachel.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi. Let me see if I can do this. There you go. So here. Rachel, you're on.
How's my sound? Okay?
Yes, you sound okay. So why don't you tell us, just give you a brief introduction, and then tell us what was amazing for you about the immersion we went to in Glastonbury. What shifted you?
Oh, yeah. Glastonbury was completely life-changing for me. I don't know why I'm giving it. Is that come from? Let's see.
Okay, I'm going to mute Laura and I while you speak.
Okay. Let's see if that helps. Is that better? Yeah, that's better. Okay, good. Yeah, I really wanted to kind of drop into that Glastonbury moment because it was so profound, how it changed the trajectory of my life after I came home from that immersion that was led by Yukiko and our sister friend. So my name is Rachel Jessian. I have, my company's name is My Sacred Spine. I am a shamanic practitioner and a Celtic priestess, and I specialize in working with people who have very severe back issues, myself included. And, I've always kind of been a spiritual seeker with a lot of shame around that, because I have been a shaman, a seeress since I was a young girl and never really found my kind of place in the world. So when I started teaching yoga and meditating, all of these visions began to come back, and I didn't really know what to do with them, and I felt really lost. And when I started working with Yukiko, she has a way of making making me feel really safe and grounded to explore. It's almost like she holds on to like this lifeline for me so that I can really open and expand into my authenticity and my truth as a healer without having to worry about going into the unknown, like an unknown land like Glastonbury. I've never been to England. I traveled the world going to some other power centers. I've been to Peru, Machu Picchu. I've studied with some shamans in Australia as well. And, going to Glastonbury, I just felt this calling in my heart to go there. So I encourage anybody, if you really feel this like whispering in your soul that it's time for you to go to this power center, don't hold that back in yourself, because it's really your spirit saying, come here because there's something for you to either learn or to heal or to expand into. And, I kind of took this leap of faith going to Glastonbury after this really intense dream that I had, actually. And I was like, what did I just see? Where am I going? Who am I going with? And, I had been working with Yukiko, so I knew, I felt really like I was in great hands. And then just landing there with her, she has this way of plugging into these power centers and just opening up this field for people to really sense into the energy lines that run through the planet. And these are our power centers, right, as healers, to plug into so that we're not doing all of this work on our own, right? We're connected to each other. We're in this web of healings. It's almost like, I almost see it as like this like blanket of light and divinity that goes across the entire earth. So by going to these centers, it's almost like a pilgrimage or like a higher learning program or something like that. It's going to, you're going to get your master's in healing. It's so important for us to go to these centers in groups so that we can plug back in, so that we can recharge ourselves and come back and be of service to our people wherever we may be in the world. So thank you, Kiko, for pioneering these trips. And it's just such a blessing to work with you, just not only as your mentee, but also as your dear friend. And I'm so proud of you for calling your it's like your own unique heart song, like that's why you're here, is to bring us to these places. So I just love you so much.
Oh, thank you so much, Rachel. Thank you. I am going to bring you down. Oh, look, I've got some more things coming here. Oh, we have Liam. Okay, so people really like that exercise. Great. Well, what do we have here? Let me see. Mary. Oh, yes. Great, wonderful. I'm so glad, Mary. Great. I am going to see, we're kind of running short on time, but I have a 2-minute this is from another participant in last year's Glastonbury.
Ottawa, Canada. And I was invited last year by Yukiko to the Earth Goddess Sacred Immersion in Glastonbury. And what a treat that was. Funnily enough, I didn't really know what I was getting into. I knew that whatever it was going to be magical, because that's just the way Yukiko is. She's delightful and beautiful. And I felt I was celebrating a sort of a transition of a project that I had been doing and working on for the last year, and it was just the right time. So when I got there to Glastonbury, I found myself with 9 other beautiful goddess women, and although we danced and celebrated and drank tea and walked in beautiful countryside, some of the most profound things that I sensed in myself were the quietness and the challenge of recognizing that I am no longer 30 years old, and that I have something more at 60 that I didn't have when I was 30. And what I mean by that is that it's important. It was important for me to let something go and recognize that there's great wisdom in simply accepting, hey, this is where I am right now. And the support around the group was tremendous. Not only that, the land itself, we walked and walked and sat in caves and took our shoes off and walked through meadows. I found myself singing, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." And the not wanting is and was really a beautiful recognition that we don't really need much more than ourselves. And so I thank you, Yukiko, for inviting me to this Glastonbury trip. And I know that your trip to Bali will be a beautiful one. And I wish I was going too. Take good care. Thank you.
Oops. Okay, so up and hide. So as you can see, there's a lot of transformation that happens in very amazing ways for each woman, each person.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I know both MG and Rachel love them both. And not surprised they had an amazing time with you. And I'm wondering, what if somebody's interested, but they're concerned that they don't already have a mystical experience, or, can men do your practices? Are men invited? Or what if somebody doesn't identify fully as an earth healer? They may be interested in that, but they're not there yet. How do you feel about who can come? Who's welcome? I
feel that anybody who has the capacity for curiosity, because that's the biggest place to be in, because we're each of us stepping into the unknown. So sometimes having too much information can also hold us back. And I feel that each moment, so anybody who has curiosity and in a reasonable state of health and is really feeling, in their heart and their souls that this is something that they would really like to experience, then you are welcome. In this particular journey to Bali, both men and women are welcome, even though it's mostly the women who are right now responding to these calls. So it's this way of connecting, and I'm sure you sense this in the very short exercise that we did, is actually quite available to a lot of people, because we're just tapping it. It's not some other technique from the outside that we're importing in and you're trying to understand and learn. It's really about reconnecting back into what you already have, what we already have. And I have seen through all the work that I've done with many different people that the psychic capacity is in every one of us. And in some of us, it's a lot more available than others. But the capacity to sense, to feel, that's why it feels so good to go out to nature. It's because we come back into touch with what's natively us. So I would say if you are somebody who's curious, who's not dogmatic, and who is open to experiencing and sensing in a way that is nonlinear. So, and it's not about getting somewhere, but it's actually about receiving and opening to what is here now and where you are. So these are kind of all difficult concepts in a way, but if you go back to that exercise that we did, what did you feel like? Was this something that you wanted to come home to? If you felt something that was really good about that exercise, then really maybe you are ready to come on this journey and experience that a little bit deeper. That's. I don't know if this answered your question. That
It sounds open. I like that. And I like the clarification that men are invited. I think that's important to make, that men are invited. What if somebody feels drawn to your work or to work with you, but they can't make Bali? I know it's in October and people are interested. You want them to comment. Maybe we should say again what you want them to comment, but what would be a next step if they'd like to explore working with you, the possibility of that?
So those of you who can't make it to Bali, I also work online. It's a system called Embodied Radiant Empowerment. So that's what the system that Rachel and I worked with. And what's interesting about that is that literally it's tailor-made for each person. So it's not as if there's a curriculum and we go through it. It's for those of you who really want to investigate how to come into your center and into your own power through embodiment. So it's not about leaving here because it's too hard. It's about really expanding into here and now. And the best thing to do actually is to come on a 20-minute discovery session with me. So those of you who are interested, just put in the comment section, interested in your in the private coaching sessions, or want to have a discovery session. And then I'll send you a link so you can schedule that with me. And those of you who want to come to Bali, again, I remind you, make a comment, Bali, send me more information. Or I want a discovery session with you about Bali. Okay, send me those comments and I will get back to you. And those of you who are not listening to this on live, if you come onto this afterwards, private message me, okay, as soon as possible. All right. So
Yukiko Amaya, you got her name there.
Yeah. It's a Japanese name.
Wonderful name.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, Yuki.
Yes.
So do you think we have time? I actually have to hop off at the hour.
Yes.
These pyramid type of schedules are causing
I know.
But you could do another practice with people. Is there anything else you want to share before we go? I'd love to do a practice with you, but I personally will need to leave, and I'm going to claim a discovery session. You keep going.
Okay, come for it. Yes.
Yeah, follow up on this today. I can tell that it's something that's going to be helpful for me. How would you like to close? And would you like to just have me say goodbye and you keep going?
Okay, so let's close. Do you have a couple of minutes?
I do.
The hour. Okay, so we'll close before the hour.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Your tender spirit, your gentleness. I knew, for me, it means a lot to invite the Divine Feminine Yoga community to come meet you, and I just know you take good care of everyone. So thank you for the day.
Thank you. And again, the before we do the closing ritual, we're going to do a ritual. I'll create a ritual. But before we go there, I just wanted to again remind you that Bali is October 7th to the 17th. And it's going to be a very intimate journey. Maximum 10 people. So try to connect with me as soon as you can. I would like for you to connect with me by the end of July 31st. And claim your discovery session by then for Bali. It's coming on soon. I really need to make sure that I have enough people to make this work. Okay, so if you are thinking about it, please just connect with me and let's talk about this, and let's get your deposit in so that we can make this really, really happen. Okay, good. All right. So In a gathering like this, it's always good to do a closing because we've just generated some energy, and it's a wonderful way to close. So either seated or standing, but again with your feet flat on the floor. Okay, and we're just going to call in the directions. And today we'll just call in the 4 cardinal directions, the north, east, south, west. But we're going to start out with the south today, being summer. And so just, if you know which direction or which way south is, face that direction. If you don't worry. Just open your body to the feeling of the south. Okay? And don't worry about the things that I'm going to say. Different traditions have different meanings associated with directions. Just don't worry too much about it. Today I'm going to call in the element of water to the south, to the beautiful element of water, and to all those wise beings of water. We are water. May we be the guardians of water within us and around us on this planet. Help purify us, dear Goddess, Domnu of water. And may we go forth to keep our waterways clear and clean so that it may nourish all life. And now we're going to turn in the direction of the west towards the setting sun. The beautiful time when we face the west, when we look at the earth as the sun sets into the earth, and we feel into her beautiful ground, into her caves, into her moist soils, and the rock. Oh, great Mother Bamba, I feel you're in my bones, in my body. This is my earth. My body is my earth, and I stand upon your body, dear Mother, and I thank you, and I bless you, and I am so grateful for all the abundance that you bring to me and to bring to all life. Let me also return this love by loving you and caring for you. Thank you so much, Mother Earth, in the direction of the west. And turning now to the direction of the north, to the great wisdom, to the element of air, to all the birds and the flying beings, to the wisdom of the skies. And I also connecting with the spaciousness inside me and the breath of life that I draw within me. Oh, great, great, great Mother, Danu. Bless all the air. Bless the air that we breathe. Bless all beings that is connected with us through the air. Bless all life. This is our connection, invisible and so nurturing. I thank you, the element of air. May we endeavor to keep it clear and clean for all beings. Thank you so much. And turning to the direction of the east, to the rising sun. Oh, great power of the sun, and great she-bear Mother Arta. Oh, beautiful sun. Each day as you rise, I take hope as I bring the light of my own soul, my own sun, my own lifeblood, and let it rise into the heart and into the world. I thank you. And I thank all living beings connected under the light of the sun, and to all plants. And I breathe all of these directions deeply in And as I breathe out a blessing and a prayer for all beings and all elements. May we be safe, happy, and free. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Thank you so much, everybody. And thank you, Laura, again. And thank you, Rachel. And thank you, MG. And thank you, everybody who came on to listen today. Please share this with all the people that you know so that we can get the word out and that we can bring consciousness to our online community. The internet cannot be our enemy. We have to use it and to really spread consciousness into the net as we do in all of our lives. So please share the word, spread the word. Thank you so much. And again, private message me if you need to connect with me. Thank you.
Big love.
Big love. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye. Bye.